Hey knitters, happy Sunday. This is the 150th episode of the Knitty McPurly podcast. Welcome, thank you for joining me. Subscribe, thumbs up if you are new. I'm Devin Ventry. You can find me at KnittyMcPurly.com. I'm Knitty McPurly on Instagram, and if you want to email me, I'm Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. All that stuff is linked down below. Today, I am drinking out of my new I Heart NY mug. Isn't it so cute? You'll never guess who sent me this. Christy Glass. Doesn't this just embody who Christy is? I think that she's a native New Yorker. I'm pretty sure. I don't know that for sure, but because now she lives in my state in Virginia. But she sent me this beautiful I Heart NY mug, and I'm enjoying my fourth cup of coffee this morning out of it. It is 8:30 in the morning. I got up kind of early. She also sent me, look at this cute necklace. Isn't that so cute, from Brass Habit? It is a handmade, like, cross-stitch necklace. Isn't that adorable? That was so sweet. And she wrote me a lovely note, but I think my favorite thing that she sent me was this. Look, it's a little heart. And she even left the tails on it so that I can like attach it to something. I'm just gonna sew it on something. Isn't it so cute? This is such a great gift for a knitter because a normal person would have no idea what to do with this, but I'm like, what am I gonna put it on? It's so special. I don't know what I'm gonna put it on. Cute, right? Anyway, how are you? Happy Sunday. It is gorgeous here. This is Rhinebeck weekend, so I don't know if you made it to Rhinebeck or not, but I heard it rained. But knitters are okay with the rain. I mean, I think we'd all prefer the sun, but people are willing to slog through the mud to get to some amazing yarn and people and fun. I saw a little bit of it on Instagram, not a lot, because I just don't follow a lot of people, but it looked like people had a good time. So here it was gorgeous. We had like perfect blue sky, cold, sunny, perfect weather, which is all of it's perfect for knitting, really, right? Okay. Progress and shop news. So, as you might expect, my sock rulers were gone in a hot second. I had some in-stock ones, and those ones sold out, gone. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave the pre-order up. I don't feel like I need to take it down. There's a finite number of pre-orders. So if you want to go grab a pre-order, go do that. Just understand that I can't promise it on a timeline. You know, it's not going to be 6 months. It will be less than 6 months, probably a month or two is when, you know, I can probably ship those. But the sock ruler pre-order, just go in knowing that you will ultimately get a sock ruler, but I can't guarantee the timeline. Today is the last day of the Diggory Knitalong, the first day of the Audrey Knitalong, and today is also the last day that you can get the Audrey sweater pattern or the Flux cowl pattern for half price. So go get those, put them in your cart if you haven't already done that because you don't want to miss that. Patterns go on sale when there's a knit along or if it's a brand new pattern. So if you want it, go get it. How are the fluxes coming along? I've seen a couple of them on Instagram where you guys are in the process and I feel like you are liking the Dresden DK. It's so cool, isn't it? Oh, I forgot my sweater. Hold on, let me go get it. Okay, so I have my Golightlies sweater in my cute, adorable bag from Woolen Works Designs. Super high quality, lovely bag. Also, I am wearing my original Golightlies sweater. So I wore this to church this morning. I've got jeans on now. I had nicer pants on for church. I think the showstopper of this sweater is the sleeve. It's kind of like a leg of mutton sleeve where it's just very roomy here and then it's fitted here. Two things I love about that is it gives you a lot of room to move when this is loose, but this being tight keeps you really warm and the sleeve doesn't get in your way if you're doing stuff around the house. These are actually a really good length for me because you guys know how my arms are so super long. And this one has the turtleneck. And actually, I was not hot today. I'm not hot right now. I was not hot in church because, I mean, it's like 50 degrees outside, but I didn't wear a coat. So I omitted the turtleneck on this one. I actually got a lot done, you guys. I'm really kind of surprised. Last week, I had not divided for the sleeves, and now I have done that. And there's a lot of sleeve stitches because we're in the blousey part. And I believe, although I don't exactly remember, I believe that you just don't decrease. And then here, it's all the decreases at one time, and then you just knit the ribbing to the end. It's very simple. I kind of don't understand why we would knit a sweater any other way. It's so easy and it looks so pretty. I mean, slim sleeves were in for a while, but in terms of comfort and wearability, a wider sleeve is where it's at. So I just joined my second skein, and I did not alternate skeins at all. This is my own hand dye. This is the Fontaine colorway in the Dresden DK. And I dyed them all in the same pot, and I'm just hoping for the best. I didn't even, a lot of times when I'm using a hand dye, I will just, for a couple rounds, alternate skeins. And the reason I didn't do that here was not because of any like thought. No thought went into that. It was just that when I'm working on this, when I'm a passenger in a car, or I'm waiting for a kid to come out of a place, or it's the end of the day, my brain has stopped working and I'm just gonna knit for a few rounds before I go to bed. And so when I was out in the car, I didn't have my second skein in my bag yet. So I was just like, well, I'm just not gonna alternate. I'm just gonna hope for the best. But I think it looks really good. I don't think you can really tell even on the camera. But there's so much variation. There's so much variation that I think it really works. Gosh, they are loud. Can you hear them? Yeah, that side looks really good. I like all the pops in there. And it's just so knobbly. That's the word. Can't remember what word, boucle, I think was the word I used last week. It's just such a knobbly feeling with this Dresden DK. And you can see just how much fluff we are talking about to get to the DK. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think of the yarn. And if anyone is interested in making a sweater with it. I love it personally, but it did take me a little time to love it, because at first there's a learning curve. Like I said, with the stitch definition, you have to figure it out and get used to it. So, okay, Audrey Knitalong starts today. I had some people in the comments say, how do I sign up for the Knitalong? So to be a part of the Knitalong, here's what you do. Needles up, cast it on. Today is the day. You don't have to sign up anywhere. You just start knitting today. And when your sweater is done, you're gonna either post it on Instagram with the hashtag Audrey Knitalong. No one has used it yet. Or you can send me an email. If you're not on Instagram, send me an email, and in the subject line, type Audrey Knitalong, so that I will be able to find it and give a prize at the end. And I have a prize today for the Diggory Knitalong people. There were not a lot of finishers, and I thought, I could extend it, but my life is extremely busy, and probably your lives are extremely busy too. And I just was like, I'm gonna make it simple, and it's just a knit-along. Everyone really is the winner in the end of a knit-along, because you all have a brand new sweater, and that is what we're all here for. But I do have a winner for the Diggory Knit-Along. And that winner is Kim Klinger. Yay, congrats, Kim. I will send you an email. She sent me her Diggory via email. So I will send her an email back and tell her that she is the winner of a $50 Knitty McPurly gift card. So that is really what is at stake here, is a $50 Knitty McPurly gift card. Here's a little tip for you. If you win one of these things, use it right away. Because if you don't use it right away, you're gonna forget about it. And then it's lost, because you're gonna be like, well, I forgot about it. I don't even remember what it was anymore. How do I even find out about that anymore? So use it right away if you win a gift card. That's my little tip for you. So in addition to getting kind of a surprising amount done on my Golightlies sweater, I am in the heated throes of advent calendar prep. If you bought a Knitty McPurly advent calendar, those will arrive at your house before December 1st. Not exactly sure when. Hope to ship mid-November. Might be mid to late November, but I will make sure that they are on your doorstep before December 1st. Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait to tell you more about that and to get into it. It's going to be really fun. Another thing that came up in the shop this week is I had people ask me to add things to their order after they've already placed it. And I was talking to my husband about this, and he's like, you know, when I go to Chick-fil-A, even if I place an order on the mobile app and pay on the mobile app, they can still add stuff to my order. And I was like, my shop is not like that. This is one major way that I am different from Chick-fil-A. I can't go in and edit your order after you've placed it. I think because they charge you right then. Chick-fil-A doesn't charge you until you check out at the store. I think that's the difference. So if you ask me for something, all I can say is you have to go buy it. Like you have to go to the shop and buy it. And like, let's say you place 2 orders and you want me to combine them. I can do that, but you have to place the 2 separate orders and then I can refund the extra shipping. So obviously my first pick is that you just get everything you want in one order and then I ship it. That's my favorite thing. But if you do want me to combine, if you just ask me about it, I can't add it in there. So just in case you were wondering, that's probably true of a lot of internet purchases. Like you have to go back and buy the thing that you want. Okay. My notes are, I'm using a different template on my notes, and it has made them a little bit discombobulated, but that's okay. It's fine. Back to the Audrey knit-along. I gave you the hashtags. We're going to end that the Thanksgiving weekend, the Sunday, November 26th. So that's a ton of time to knit a worsted weight sweater. You can totally knock it out in that time. Who's doing the Audrey? Who is joining us? Leave me a comment and tell me if you're joining and what yarn you're using. I would love to hear about that because there's a lot of worsted weight yarn out there. There's indie dyed yarn, there's craft store yarn, there's, Cascade 220 is a very commonly used worsted weight yarn that's just a workhorse. 100% wool, I think. I'm pretty sure Cascade 220 is 100% wool. It's not the softest yarn, but it is extremely budget friendly and it wears well. It's just a really good yarn. Okay. Normally I just scroll, but it's all fine. It's all fine. There is no crocheting with Gigi today because today is my husband's birthday. Happy birthday, honey. Since he watches the podcast. Here's a picture of him with the blanket that Gigi made for him, that total shock. He had no idea, didn't see it coming at all, but he loved it. And here is a picture of him with the cow that Alexis crocheted for him for his birthday. I did not knit him anything for his birthday. Well, let me tell you about the cow. So my husband is a big smoker of meat. And this cow, there's no pattern that goes with it. I'll link the blanket pattern down below. It's that daisy one by Amy something. I don't know. I'll link that down below. There's no pattern for the cow because Alexis just makes this stuff up. And he's got red boots on. And the reason she did that is because my husband loves to smoke meat. Cow. So it's the other end of the cow. She could have crocheted him like a brisket or something. That would have been cool too. But I did not knit my husband anything. I gave him coupons because that is the hardest gift for me to give. There are coupons for me to drop what I am doing and bake him the thing that he wants. There's a coupon for when he finds a recipe on Instagram that I have no interest in making, that I will make that thing for him. They're mostly food related, but I didn't knit him anything because he's not knit worthy. I said it. I have knit him things before, and he does wear hats because he doesn't have any hair. And if he's like at the range all day, his head is going to get cold. And so he'll wear a hat then in the winter. But I've made him socks before and he doesn't wear them. So he's just not very knit worthy, but he is crochet worthy, apparently, according to my daughters. So there is no crocheting with Gigi this week. And actually she's been painting this week. She painted a picture for Maggie for her wedding. But anyway, on to the comments section. Yarn Chicken and Stuff says, that's Tara. Hi, Tara. My young teenage sons overheard the end of your podcast and learned all about colonoscopies and of course made inappropriate jokes. Of course they did. That's what teenage boys do, and girls. My kids it was relentless. I mean, any kind of poop joke, they're all in for that. Janet Roberson said, hello from Rainy Mounds, Illinois. Beautiful chicken. She's referring to the chicken that Gigi made. One thing that I forgot to say, two things that I forgot to say last week about the chicken is that the chicken is wearing a sweater because Gigi did not have enough yarn to make the whole thing in white. And also, I forgot to link the pattern. This is it by the Crochettisty. And also Gigi omitted the tail. So she's supposed to have a tail too. Isn't that just so cute? Oh my gosh, adorable. And this is a free pattern. I don't think she paid for it. It's free. Anyway, Janet says, Gigi is amazing. I just love it when she is on. I always buy yarn. I always buy yarn for the largest size, regardless of the size I am knitting. So this is talking about how much yarn you need to make a sweater. I can always use the yarn for something else. That's interesting because I've had people complain if they had to buy an extra skein. And if you're it depends what kind of yarn you're using. You know, at $30 a skein, it would be a lot of extra money out. But if you're using a more budget-friendly yarn, it would be easy to do. And she also suggests that I put the gigantic Audrey label in a frame and keep it. That's a good idea. Super smart. So you might be happy to know that the normal sized Audrey labels came. And so I will be putting those in the shop soon. I had a lovely lady tell me that her daughter's name is Audrey. And so she was like, I'm just gonna sew this in her stuff. Genius. Jane Zilligy, I don't know, says, is Gigi's Yarn Chicken playing Yarn Chicken? Oh man, yes, she is. I'm not sure what she's making. It's like an egg cover, maybe to cover her eggs. I don't know. Okay, Butterfly Jonesful said, I am very excited for the sock rulers. That chicken is fantastic. Nice work. An idea popped in my head when I saw that large label. Sew this into a knitting bag. That would be fun. A couple people actually suggested that, to sew it into a knitting bag. You could put it in the bag that you're keeping your Audrey in. So when these go up, just like I said last week, it's going to be $3 and I will send you both. All right, I'll send you one giant one and one tiny one. So if you know anybody named Audrey, it works for any of their garments also. Susie1406 says, amen, sister. I don't care what the mob has to say. God calls us to be graceful and kind. When that entire thing went down, I was super disappointed with the behavior of many in our community. Living in Puerto Rico, I have a very small crochet, knit, sewing, and craft community, and we are tight. Each of us have different skills and strengths, and we love to see each other's ideas and skills. I enjoyed all the Christy Glass videos, and I was sad to see she had to take a different direction. Well, supporting her on Patreon is super affordable if you wanted to do that. I get it though, I get it. I understand all sides of it. One of the things that I said to her was, because she's a multi-talented person. I mean, she does a lot of things. Like she sings, she acts, she's beautiful. she could do anything. And I wondered back when that happened if she would just drop us all and just leave the knitting community. I wouldn't blame her if she did, but she chose not to, so that's nice. Okay, Erica Engel said, 2 of my sons and future daughter-in-law attend a Russian Orthodox church. I was thinking about knitting the cowl for her as a winter head covering, but not in Dresden DK as I'm allergic to alpaca. Good tip. Here, I happen to have it right here, and I think it would totally work. Just use the big end. Oh, there goes the chicken. Just use the big end. And you could even put it on and do it with the small end too. There's our head covering. Yeah, a lot of the people in the Byzantine church that we attended, was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? I cannot even remember. But a lot of them veil. A lot of people at the Latin Mass veil too. It was interesting, by the way. A couple people asked me about it or commented on it, and it was interesting. The one that we went to was very, very Byzantine. I mean, it felt more like you were in a first century Jewish synagogue. That's what it felt like. It was interesting. Okay, Amy J said, I finished my diggory a few days ago and will post a photo of it soon. However, I looked at the hashtag on Instagram and felt the same as you. Where are all the diggories? The stars rarely align for me to be able to participate in a knit-along, so I was excited to get to do this one. And now I'm mostly by myself. So disappointed. Maybe everyone's holding out for a finished photo and they'll start popping up this week. Hope so. Either way, I loved making this pattern. Diggory is so great because it is so versatile. Some people, I'd say most people chose to make it as a basic in a white or a gray, or at least, one solid color. But you could play with it. I had people ask me, what if I did like a color variegated diggory? And I'm like, well, then you're going to have a color variegated shirt. What do you want? So, but people told me that they got so many compliments on them, and I think it's a great knit. Oh, this comment was awesome. This is from Leslie Carnes, Brenda. Brenda. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, awesome. Thank you so much for all of those wonderful comments. You guys are so great. Okay, knitting fantasies. Before I go into my knitting fantasies, I wanted to show you. So this is the dusty color and the Dresden DK. And I had a customer order it in St. Petersburg, super bulky. Gosh, it's so pretty, isn't it? It's just so beautiful. The thing about the dusty color, and I meant to show you the difference between this and Morel, because it's hard to show it on the website. And I don't even know if this would do any better. But Morel is a much, I don't want to say darker, because it's a little darker, but it's moodier. It's like a gray, purple gray sky. And this is like a moody rose gold, but it's lighter. It's not quite as saturated as the Morel. So they're definitely different colors. But this, I wanted to show you in particular, as it pertains to my very first pick of knitting fantasies. Did I say knitting fantasies? Knitting fantasies! My first pick is the Crown Headband by Sydney and Grace. And I saw this, I stumbled across it on Etsy, and I was like, I think I'm actually gonna buy that pattern. And so I did. And it's 25% off right now. I think I paid like $4-ish for it. It's a headband that's a crown. First of all, I need this in my life. I have to have it. And it's super bulky. She made hers with Lion Brand Thick and Quick, which is very affordable. So you could make them for everyone in your life if you want. And I think I might have to. But wouldn't it be great in this rose gold color, the dusty? So I am going to take this skein of St. Petersburg, super bulky, and I am going to whip up a crown or two. I bet I could get a couple. because there's not a lot of yards, because 100 grams is, I think it's like 44 yards. I wonder if it says how many yards it takes. This is a really cute pattern. What did I say? Lori Spradley of Sydney and Grace Designs. And this is an older pattern, 2016, but I love it. 50 yards, but I'm sure I can do it in one skein. You have to be able to do it in one skein, but I'm not gonna get two. But that's okay. So in the pattern, there are directions for one size, but there's a bonus baby crown pattern. In case there is a baby in your life who needs a knitted soft crown. Let's see, does it say? Oh, wait. The baby crown is 50, oh, they both say 50 yards, but the baby is gonna take less. I love it so much. And so the points, they're directions for strengthening them. I think it's a weaving in of the tails to strengthen those points so that they stand up. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Okay, my second pick is by Knititude. I also found this one on Etsy. This is the Fernwood Bolero. And this is a very interesting design. It reminds me of my Canyon sweater. What you do, she has directions, and this is what it says on Etsy. It says, to knit this garment, you knit the body horizontally from side to side to make, she says a large square, but I think it's a rectangle. Once finished, you will work some magic with 2 mattress stitch seams. So here is your rectangle right here. On the end, you're just gonna mattress stitch like that, and that's the front, and then you pick up and knit the sleeves. Isn't that an interesting construction? I just thought, that is so cool. I love that idea. Okay, you guys super duper came through for me last week when I told you that I didn't have any knitting stories and I cried a tear. I didn't. I really didn't cry. It was fine. But you guys really came through and I got like 5 or 6 knitting stories. So yes, love knitting stories. I'm gonna share this one with you. It's not really a story. It was more of an observation. So I'm gonna share this and then I'll tell one of the knitting stories. Oh, this is from Kim C. Kim is my winner for the Diggory Knit-Along. Kim says, I am a legal junkie and I like to watch trials while I focus on my knitting. Today I was watching the Take Care of Maya trial. Sad, but not significant to the story. A woman sitting right behind the attorney for Maya a few rows back walked in wearing a sleeveless dress. I swear I could see the goosebumps popping out on her arms. I wanted to tell her, come on, sister, you wear a sleeveless dress to a room full of men in 3-piece suits? One was even wearing a 4th layer, his honor's robe. There was a brief break in the proceedings, and upon return to her seat, she was wearing your new shawl. And here is the picture. She said, I thought you'd get a kick out of this. Interestingly, this does look a lot like the Flux cowl. It's not, but it even looks like it is made in a yarn similar to the Dresden DK. I just thought that is so funny that it's a very similar design and even the yarn is similar. Crazy. So maybe there exists a pattern out there that's similar. I don't know. News to me. Okay, so here's what happened. This story comes to us from a lovely knitter named Carrie, and she says, so here's what happened. In 2018, my husband's parents, took all their children and families on an Alaskan trip for 12 days. I foolishly decided not to take any knitting or crochet on the trip. Well, Carrie, you probably were thinking, I'm gonna be catching up with my family and I'm not gonna have time. We did 5 days on land and then we did a 7-day cruise. It was a nice trip. So we're on the cruise and headed to a tour of Dolly's house in Ketchikan when I spot a yarn shop. I, of course, head inside. I'm looking around and I find a beautiful skein of yarn that was grown milled, and dyed in Alaska. I decided this one is going home with me. At the time, I had been a knitter who had only used commercial yarns and made the normal dishcloths, scarves, hats, and blankets. So a lot of rectangles, except for the hats, although you could make a hat out of a rectangle. This was my very first hand-dyed yarn. I don't remember his exact words, but my husband made some comment or question about, is that all the yarn I was going to buy? I told him that he couldn't afford for me to buy more of this fabulous yarn. Boy, what he wouldn't give for me to go back to those commercial yarns now. Amen, sister. Once you go to the beauty of hand-dyed yarn, it is hard to go back. Carrie says, we go do the tour of Dolly's house. If you've never heard of it, it's definitely a tour you don't forget. Dolly Parton? I don't know any other Dollys. In Alaska? I don't know. So we're heading back to the ship after lunch and the rest of our sightseeing for the day when I decide that I'm going to find a pattern to make using my new yarn. And of course, I need needles because I don't have any with me. I sit on a park bench and search Pinterest for a pattern using this bulky yarn. I find a scarf that I like and I grab new needles and head back to the ship. My husband had to be the swift while I wound the yarn into a ball by hand. I spent the next several days working on a scarf while relaxing on the trip. It's now time to start the long wait at the airport in Vancouver, Canada, for it to be time for our flight home. I'm sitting in the chair knitting the last few inches of my scarf with my headphones in. My husband elbows me and leans over to tell me that these two older ladies have been watching me for quite some time. He says he can't figure out if they are awed by my skills or annoyed that someone is sitting here knitting. I shrug my shoulders because I don't really care about how other people feel about what I do. He then tells me they would probably have a stroke if they heard the music you listen to while doing that. I laughed because that's true. I only appear to be a sweet middle-aged woman who loves to knit and crochet, but I really love to listen to very heavy metal, especially when I am working my yarn magic. That is awesome, Carrie. You do you. I don't listen to heavy metal when I am knitting, but I do listen to Metallica and AC/DC when I'm lifting weights. That's the music that we put on. She said, I've never taken another trip where I've left my yarn at home. And that yarn started my hand-dyed yarn love. And here is a picture of my daughter wearing the scarf that I finished at the airport. And it looks like they're at the airport in this picture and like she just finished it. That is awesome. I love that, Carrie. What a great story. It's funny how projects are like that, where something will start something. It'll start you off on a trajectory. I feel like that kind of thing happens to me all the time. It's some sort of rabbit hole that I go down and I usually have to pull myself back up and put my feet on the ground and say, okay, what do you have time for in reality? But that is awesome, Carrie. So good. If you have a knitting story, I know I said that I have 5 or 6, but you guys, they're going to be gone like that. They are going to disappear because this is a weekly podcast. So 5 or 6 weeks and then I'm going to be out. So send me a story, Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com, and I would love to feature it on the podcast. If you sent me one and you are not Carrie, I'm saving yours for a future podcast. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I have to go cook a bunch of food because I'm going to have a house full of people later and we're going to do some celebrating. All right. Have a great day, knitters. Bye.